الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Okay, now interestingly, in all of all these ayahs about Bani Israel, we see this story as a population that just keeps going down and down and down and down. And the worst so far seems to be in this last ayah that we just looked at. Now humiliation is stamped upon them, and the wrath of Allah, a'udhu billah, is stamped upon them. Then we have this ayah right in the middle of the whole thing. Ayah 62. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَالَّذِينَ هَادُوا وَالنَّصَارَى وَالصَّابِئِينَ. So this translation says those who believe, and then in parentheses such and such, and those who follow the Jewish scriptures, and the Christians and the Sabians. مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا. So, and those who believe in Allah and the last day and work righteousness. فَلَهُمْ أَجْرُهُمْ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ وَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. They shall have their reward with their Lord, and on them shall be no fear, nor shall they grieve. Now this is, so this is another one of those ayahs that requires us to look very carefully at terminology. Let's see if I pull this up. Yeah. It's like we're all waiting in suspense. Exactly.
This is all I can ask for.
Yes.
Not more than
Yeah, for some people, oh, there it is. Okay, good. Maybe. So we should pray that it is good for us. Okay. So this ayah, first issue relates to the translation of these terms right at the beginning. Inna allazina amanu, so as for those who believe or who have believed. The next one is wallazina hadu. So this is the common term that in the Quran we translate as Jewish. Okay? Remember I was saying Bani Israel, don't translate that, don't look at them as Jewish. Hadu or Yahud, this would be the closest thing that we have to the word for Jewish. Okay. Nasara would be the closest thing in the Quran for Christian. What is the word that we use today for Christian? What do we use today in the Arab world for Christian? Yeah, but there's another word we use, Masihin, right? In the East being Egypt. You still call them Nasara? Oh, very interesting. I did not know that. Okay. But what is the word Hadu? What is it actually? It is Hadu. Hadu are the people of Judah or Judea. Okay. What is Nasara? If Hadu is Judah or the location Judea, what would Nasara be? What word does it sound like? The people of Nazareth. Okay. So, what? Okay. We lost it again. Okay. So we might translate this as those who believe, those who are of Judea, those who are of Nazareth. Okay? Or we might translate this as those who are essentially Jewish, those who are Christian. Allah knows best, but this is already one issue that is a question mark. The other group is this mystery group, the Sabi'in, the Sabians. Anybody know anything about them? There are many, many theories. I'm sorry? Hard voice. No. One theory is essentially that this was a group of people in Iraq that were also monotheists. Another theory is that these people are related to Zoroastrians, and I'm hesitant about that one because there's another word in the Quran that is commonly used with Zoroastrians. What's the word? What is the word? Majus. Okay, this we find in Surah 5. Okay.
But the Sabians, they still exist in Iraq. At least they
As a population, probably, right? I mean,
they follow the rights of Yahya.
Yahya alayhi salam? Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
They live by the river.
Really? Okay, yeah, Allah knows best. I mean, the interesting thing is that, okay, if we speak of this Quran as being something that is always applicable, then there's probably always going to be a population of Sabi'in somewhere in the world. Allah knows best, right? Okay? So, as for those who believe, those who are Jewish or are the legacy of Jewish, those who are Christian legacy of Jewish, Sabi'ins.
What about
Dawud alayhi salam, Allah knows best, right? But then we have this line in the middle of the ayah. Anyone who believes in Allah and the last day and does right. Okay, here's the question. What do we mean? Because this is amila salihan. Okay. It is one thing to do good and it is another thing to do right. So let's see. What is the difference between doing good versus doing right? We had a point like this in class number 1 that we're revisiting. Amilul khair versus amilul salih. Maybe sort of moral ethic, okay. Even simpler, you might remember the example I gave of the person at work. The boss says, okay, here's a project for you. I'm going to collect this project from you, so get to work, okay. 3 weeks go by, and the boss comes back to you and says, did you do your project? And you say, no, I didn't do the project, but I cleaned all the bathrooms in the building, and now we're going to have less sick days, and we're going to have higher productivity. Did I do a good deed? Yes. But I didn't do the right deed. So what's the difference between a good deed and a right deed? A right deed are those things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to do. Okay. We also believe that automatically they're good, and they have good benefit. Okay. But here, 3 points. Those who have belief and those who have the action. Those who believe in Allah on the last day and those who do right. Whomever does that, they will have the reward with their Lord. They shall have no fear upon them, nor shall they grieve. Let's talk about this reward with the Lord portion in just a moment. We spoke also about fear and grief at the end of Ayah 39 back in the first class. What is the relationship between fear and grief? Yes?
I thought fear was beforehand and grief was after.
Yeah. That fear, when I'm experiencing fear, I'm fearing something that might happen. Okay? When I'm experiencing grief, it's because of something that has happened. Fear, I'm afraid of something bad that might happen to me. Okay? Or might happen to someone close to me. Grief is when I'm feeling bad, when I'm mourning something that has happened. Grief is related to the past. Fear is related to the future. There's also a subtle lesson that people take from every time you see this in the Quran. Have no fear, have no grief. That you should live in the moment. That too often we live in our imagination about what might happen in the future. We worry and worry and worry, and you miss the moment that is right in front of you. You miss the moment and the chance to even think, Alhamdulillah, for how great is the moment. So imagine you're sitting here, you're learning, you're with all these fun, happy people, right? But all the time in your mind, you're worried about this, you're worried about this, you're worried about this, right? And again, back to that point, like when we are in salah, what is the first move we do in salah after we make our intention? You lift up your hands. And what does that mean when we're following the Prophet, peace be upon him? Throwing the world behind you. For the next 5 minutes, the next 10 minutes, whatever happens in the world is irrelevant. In these 5-10 minutes, I'm going to be in salah. I'm going to be in my prayer. I'm going to be on vacation. I'm going to be washing myself. Okay, so what are we also saying? That one of the consequences of belief should be that you are appreciating the moment. You're not caught up in grief, you're not caught up in fear. Fear is natural, which is fine. Grief is natural, which is absolutely fine. Okay? But it doesn't control your whole life. Okay? Because again, if you have the confidence that Allah will take care of everything, then inshallah we have to remind ourselves about that. But again, fear is natural, and so is grief. But the goal is to live in the blessing of the moment. So, they will have their reward with their Lord. Is this ayah saying that a non-Muslim can go to heaven? Big question.
Yes.
You're saying yes. Okay. Anyone else? Does it sound like it's saying a non-Muslim? Okay.
Why Why do I have to worry about it?
Okay, so yeah, that's almost a deeper question. That's not my concern. I'm not non-Muslim. Yes. This is an interesting point. Okay, they'll get their reward. Okay, doesn't necessarily mean they'll have Jannah. You're making that point.
That's what I was going to say too.
Okay. Okay, so whatever reward it is they're seeking, they will get, inshallah. Okay. So what do you think as a general idea? Is it possible for a non-Muslim to go to heaven?
Otherwise, heaven will be empty.
Well, there's a billion Muslims.
Yeah, but all the Muslims will go. They will be punished more because they have the book.
Inshallah, at least all of us will go. Yeah.
Inshallah, what
Okay.
work,
Okay.
like that, we have
Okay.
to work very hard.
Yeah. What do you think?
Go to heaven in person?
Okay, you're speaking about this dunya.
Here?
Potentially.
There's some place because I came from Pakistan, came to America.
And Pakistan's heaven on earth, as we know, yeah.
This is a heavenly place.
Yeah.
Most of the time I'm like a zombie. I'm automatic pilot.
Sure,
I
sure.
don't see
Yeah.
nothing until it's the internal heaven, the inner heaven. I reach there. Places won't make much difference.
Potentially, I mean, there's one way you can read that, like in terms of you need to have qalbun salimun. You need to have a sound heart to enter paradise. Absolutely, sure. Oh.
It's confusing because on one hand, the Quran says that one sin that will never be forgiven
Is shirk?
is shirk.
Okay.
And then this, so
Okay.
I'm confused.
Okay. Yes.
First class, some people willfully would reject, some people don't have the knowledge.
Okay. So one group of people that is told of is going to hell is whom? The kafirs. Right? And how do we define kafir? Kafir is someone who feels compelled to turn to Allah and they say no, they reject it. Okay. So there, it's categorical. Okay. Another group of people, it's categorical. Who? The munafiqs, the hypocrites. Okay. What about everybody else? Well, there's two parts of this discussion. One is the academic opinion. Okay. The other is the real discussion, the practical opinion, the practical consequence. If I say no, a non-Muslim cannot enter heaven. Okay. What does that then mean I have to do?
Allah has to ask us.
I have to do da'wah, right?
Allah has to ask us. He can. وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَجَعَلَهُ.
Okay.
I mean, Allah wanted, He would have did it. وَلَكِنْ يُدْخِلُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ فِي الْجَنَّةِ. Allah enters into heaven.
Whomever he wills, right?
Well, this is the Jewish thing that Allah hand has tied up. The Muslim has to always think the door is open all the time for Allah.
Okay.
Everybody who wants to go.
Well, ideally, we would want everybody in heaven, right? That's ideal, right? Now, but if my opinion, looking honestly at the material, is no, a non-Muslim cannot go to heaven, then naturally I would have to be doing da'wah. Okay? I mean, this is what the Prophet, peace be upon him, did. He was begging people to embrace his message. Abu Talib, of all the people, who helped Islam more than Abu Talib? Okay, but he did not embrace it. And what is Abu Talib's future as far as we know? He is going to have the lightest punishment in hell. Okay? But he's going to be in hell. Okay? But, yes?
I get very nervous about this. This is only Allah decides.
Sure.
Who are we to sit here and
No, this is the big answer.
go to hell and heaven?
But-
Because to kindergarten children, that's what they say in the classroom, and they come crying.
Yeah.
Everybody is going to go to hell, Mrs. Harba. No, it's not our business. This is Allah's job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair
We should
enough.
not even be thinking about it.
Okay, but...
No.
Say?
Yeah, but beta, who are we?
Okay. Yeah, but there's a reason we're making this point, because I think we all know many people who say no,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So, but
Okay.
no, it's understood. Okay, in my Sunday school, we had an experience last year where a little boy who's like 7 years old, he asked the teacher, "What's going to happen to me if I lie?" And the teacher told him, "Okay, in hell, you're going to go to hell, and your tongue is going to get cut by these big scissors, right?" Okay, subhanAllah, and then, yeah, part of me is absolutely disgusted. Part of me is laughing because this is so disgusting. But then the parents took the kid out of the school, and who knows? And in that case,
Education policy.
yeah, in that case, the parents were even hesitating to put the kid into a Sunday school, and mine was supposed to be the Sunday school where we actually address issues properly. But none of the teachers confessed. I kept trying to find out who said this. So we're like, because I'm going to cut their tongue out. So I'm like, yeah. So, okay. But let me give you the practical analogy. If I am walking down the street, maybe we did this in course one. If I'm walking down the street and I see a van is out of control and it's going to hit all these people, instinctively, what would I do? I might shout. What else might I do?
Use the cell phone for 911.
Okay, but I mean, I had like 5 seconds before it hits anybody. Maybe I'll jump in the way. Maybe I'll try to pull people out of the way. This is instinctively what I would do. Okay? So here we're talking about people going to hell. If I honestly believe that that person is going to hell, okay, then instinctively I should be doing whatever it takes to try to pull them out. Right? If I'm not doing that, then either I don't really believe it, or there's something seriously wrong with me, my humanity. Right? What if I say yes? I'm sorry?
I think black does.
I'm laughing because you said you instinctively make go after those people.
It's like, yeah, somehow, yeah. Please grant them a Ferrari.
The doors are here, they open on earth. When you're hateful, when you're angry, you're in hell.
I'd say you're in a hellish condition. I'm hesitant to call that hell. Yeah.
Well, I mean, nobody's going to make a decision about it.
Okay.
But I mean, still, the doors are open here.
Okay.
The heaven has
Sure.
15 doors or 14 doors, but all the doors open on earth.
I mean, we can get a taste of those feelings, sure. Yeah, this is Imam al-Ghazali speaks about that, absolutely. Well,
About Muslim traditions.
yeah. Oh, this goes back. This is over 1,000 years in our tradition.
Creed kind of place.
That too.
There's
Well, let's do. Well, okay. You don't want to talk about a woman in hell if you pay attention to the discussions we've been having in class. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Okay. What about the other question? If it is possible for, if it's the answer is yes, if it's possible for a non-Muslim to go to heaven, then what would that result in terms of my behavior? If I say yes, it's possible for a non-Muslim to go to heaven.
what do I lose?
By what?
Him going to hell.
Well, this is the interesting point. What is the argument that a lot of people give for no? They say that it's not fair. I got to do all this work. Why should other people go to heaven? But what if that person's heaven is Orland Park or Morton Grove, right? You know, something of that quality. Well, mine is a huge forest. I'm sorry.
How would one see if I'm in a burning building and there are people that walk American lives?
Yeah, well, this is the exact point that I'm making.
So, well, he's a Muslim, then I'm going to hell.
Yeah, sure.
Who cares?
That just actually reminds me of another joke. You know, I don't know if I should say this joke. Okay, you want to hear it? Okay. So. But this is a joke you'll enjoy. So this is a joke that Hamza Yusuf used to tell. I don't think he tells anymore after he became a very polite person, right? So there's this guy walking down the street, and it's in London, and and he's Pakistani, and then there's these 3 racists who are next to him, and the first racist says, sees this Pakistani guy, and he says, I want to go to Wales, where it's only 2% Muslim, right? And the second guy says, I want to go to Scotland, where it's only 1% Muslim. And the third guy says, I want to go to Ireland, where there's 0% Muslim. And then the Pakistani guy says to them, why don't you go to hell, where there's 0% Muslim? So, anyway. Yeah. So these are not good jokes, but, I'm in a happy mood. Okay, so the point is that, still, if I am practicing Islam, still if I believe that it's the best way, then naturally I will call other people to this. And likewise, if I'm not sure, the only true answer is maybe. Okay, we do not know if even we are going to heaven or hell. The end result is that I still believe that my way is the best way. Okay. So what am I saying here? That back to this question, it seems from this ayah, inshallah to come up, it seems from this ayah that it is possible for non-Muslims to go to heaven. Some argue that this ayah has been abrogated by other ayahs later on in the Quran. The answer is still Allah knows best. Okay? But practically speaking, what really matters is the consequence. Okay? If I say no, a non-Muslim cannot go to heaven, then that means I have to behave accordingly. The Prophet, peace be upon him, is begging the people in Makkah, he's begging the people in Taif to embrace his message. Okay? And we saw how they were responding to him. But ultimately, whoever believes in Allah and the last day and does right, they shall have the reward with their Lord, and they have no fear, nor shall they grieve. Yes?
Those who believe in supposedly the Quran, those who follow the Jewish scriptures, and then Christians and Sabians. Why aren't they following, the Injil or
this is an interesting point. Okay, so if we look in Surah Al-Ma'idah, Surah 5, early on, probably around ayah 20 or so, maybe even earlier, a little bit later than that, there's a challenge to the people of other communities. Okay, If you do not act according to your book, you don't stand on anything. Okay. Now, why does it say Jewish scriptures and not Christian scriptures? The question is, okay, is the Injil the same as the Gospels? Right? Nobody claims that the Gospel was revealed to Jesus, peace be upon him. Yet we believe that the Injil was revealed to Jesus. Whereas in the case of the Torah, you can make that argument, that whatever is preserved of the Torah, even the whole thing or partially, at least they have it. Right? That could be the distinction that's there. Good. Important question. Okay, this is, yes, sir.
We say yes or maybe. Why do we still have to do that?
Well, don't you believe that this is the best way of life anyway? That's essentially what we're saying, right? If someone is driving an American car and I have a Toyota Camry, right? And I believe the Toyota Camry is the best car, right? Naturally, I'm going to tell other people. Their Ford is getting them everywhere they need to go, but I'm saying that if you get a Camry, it's better. So here we're talking about Islam. Okay. But the difference is that if I say no, they can't go to heaven, then I'm absolutely obliged to do that one. Question?
So in an interfaith dialogue, like you mentioned, according to the verse, would that be a right place to be quoting this for?
Well, the question is, okay, is it appropriate to recite this in interfaith dialogues? I mean, there's a lot of issues here. A lot of times interfaith dialogues are not very honest conversations, right? There's some interfaith dialogues where it's like, let's all hold hands, let's not talk about our beliefs, right? Some interfaith dialogues are like, okay, my religion has problems, your religion has problems, let's all hold hands. Okay, but we don't believe that about a religion, okay? All right? But as a way to at least speak of the respect that we have, right? I mean, we speak of people of the book as people of the book. They have rights over us. We have obligations to them, okay? So I don't think it's a big problem, right? People are often surprised when they see this ayah, right? You're still presenting the Quran. I mean, here's how I describe it. If you take all of the ayahs in the Quran that speak about people of the book, primarily Jews and Christians, you see literally the entire spectrum, okay? Just like you do with believers. There are the people of taqwa, then there's the hypocrites, right? And likewise for the people of the book, you see the same thing. There are some among the people of the book, if you give them a mountain of gold, they will give the whole thing back to you without even thinking. There are some, if you give them a coin, they're not going to let it go, right? We even saw that ayah, this ayah that I just quoted earlier from Surah Al-Isra. This is about the people of the book, right? The people of the book fall down on their faces in tears and it increases them in humility. But who are we speaking about? We're speaking about somewhere over here. It mentions the people of the book. Well, Allah knows best, unless I'm making a mistake, right? Or if we look at the end of Surah Ali Imran, some people argue that this has also been abrogated, but in terms of a commentary on the personality of the people of the book, right here in the Quran. Okay. There are some among the people of the book who believe in Allah and in the revelation to you and in the revelation to them, bowing in humility. Okay? They will not sell off the signs of Allah for a miserable gain. For them is a reward. Right? So the point is that what does it describe among the people of the book? It also says this too. It says, same surah. Oh, you who believe, if you listen to a faction of the people of the book, they will turn you away from belief. Right? So if you take all the ayahs of the people of the book, you have the whole spectrum. There are good among the people of the book. There are people who believe, who cry in belief, and there are people who want nothing good to happen to you. Right? And I think that is the most honest way to look at it. Right? Which would even surprise people. That I think the Quran is giving the most honest depiction of the people of the book. Yeah, there's good among them, and then there's bad among them. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's an interesting point. Is it Jewish scriptures and these people? Allah knows best. Yeah. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just trying to shed more light on this. Like you say, non-believers why we have to do now.
Yeah.
Because we as a Muslim, we far after this.
Yeah. Nice. Our responsibility is to be the Khalifas on the earth, right? We believe that what we have in our tradition is better than anything what anyone else has. This is what Christian evangelicals believe, right? That their job is to save the souls of everyone, right? I would say that this would be the consequence if we really look at what is the ayah saying. Anyone who believes in Allah and does right, they will have the reward, right? But if I honestly believe that either this ayah has been abrogated, has been canceled out by another ayah, because some people argue that this only applies to people before the Prophet, peace be upon him, right? That it doesn't apply to the Prophet or later, right? But it's the same point. If I believe that these people are going to go to hell, those people are going to go to hell, then naturally I should be doing da'wah, right? But if I believe maybe they might go to heaven, I'm still believing that they have a better chance at heaven if we go to this path versus that path. Right? Yeah, who knows best. But the point I'm making, the bigger point is, there's one issue is the belief, but the next issue is what is the consequence of the belief. That's what really counts. Right? What is the action that it requires me to have? Any other last questions? Okay, very good. So inshallah, next week we will begin with ayah 63, which is going back to the children of Israel. The last point, seems to be one of the wisdoms behind having this ayah here, because it's also reminding us that the people we've been speaking about, Bani Israel, that is being earned the wrath of Allah. Okay, anyone who believes in Allah on the last day and does right, they can be rewarded. So again, we should not even look at anyone we consider to be Bani Israel as people who are destined for punishment. Okay, but next week, inshallah, we will return to Bani Israel in ayah 63. So next week, inshallah, we'll make it ayah 63 to 66. That will be week 5. And then week 6 will be ayah 67 through 71, inshallah. Okay, so subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. We've also had a very, very serious death from one of our young people in our community last week. What was his name? Abdul Ahad Yasin. Yasin. And then also I know some people who suffered a death in their family, so let us also just quietly make some dua on their behalf, at the very least. Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. So may Allah reward you all for your participation, and may Allah give all of you a safe ride home and a great week, and inshallah we'll touch base again.